In 1898, German archaeologists really were digging through the ruins of Nippur, one of the oldest cities in human history, and for nearly 2,000 years the religious capital of ancient Sumer. Thousands of genuine cuneiform tablets came out of that ground. Tax records, hymns, king lists, legal contracts. Astronomical observations so precise that modern scholars still use them to reconstruct ancient skies. But somewhere along the way, a video started circulating online about a tablet from that dig called NI 3535. It described 12 inhabited worlds. A Russian linguist who translated it in secret then died mysteriously 8 months later. A population count, hidden in cuneiform 4,000 years ago, that matches Earth's population today to within 3%. It's a great story. It is also, as far as any museum catalog, published excavation record, or a seriological journal can confirm, not a real tablet. This documentary is presented for educational purposes only. It examines a viral historical claim, explains how such claims are typically constructed, and separates the genuine archaeology of Nippur from the fictional elements added to it. Nothing here should be understood as confirming or endorsing the claims discussed. Subscribe CTA if you enjoy unpacking how ancient history gets turned into internet mythology and want the real archaeology alongside it. Subscribe because we take these stories apart every week. What mainstream scholarship actually establishes. Let's start with what's real, because it's genuinely remarkable on its own. Nippur was excavated starting in the 1880s, principally by the University of Pennsylvania, and later by joint American-Iraqi teams. It was not a political capital, but for roughly 2,000 years it functioned as Sumer's chief religious center, the seat of the god Enlil, whose temple, the Ikur, sat at the heart of the city. Kings from Ur, Akkad, and Babylon sought legitimacy through association with Nippur's priesthood, much as later rulers sought validation through Rome or Mecca. That comparison is a useful shorthand, not a literal equivalence. The excavations at Nippur produced tens of thousands of cuneiform tablets, one of the largest single archives from the ancient Near East. Most are mundane, administrative and economic texts. A smaller but famous portion are literary and religious, including some of the oldest known versions of the Sumerian king list and portions of what would become the Gilgamesh tradition. The Sumerians and their Babylonian successors were also remarkably capable astronomers. They tracked Venus's movements in the Enuma Anu Enlil tablets, named several planets and. Critically, they were aware of the long, slow wobble of Earth's axis known today as the precession of the equinoxes, a roughly 26,000-year cycle. Ancient astronomer priests associated with Nippur's tradition did work with cycles on this scale for calendrical and religious purposes. That part is genuinely well documented and worth sitting with, because it doesn't need embellishment to be impressive. None of that, however, involves 12 inhabited worlds, a hidden population census, or a prophecy of return, the alternative claim, clearly attributed. The NI 3535 story follows a structure that appears again and again in a specific genre of online content, ancient astronaut and lost tablet videos. According to the version that circulated in the source script, the tablet lists 12 worlds by name and population, including Mars, Venus, a star cluster identified with the Pleiades, a destroyed planet called Tiamat, Earth, and a return world called Nibiru. Some creators in this space present catalog numbers, museum names, and translator biographies as if they were verifiable facts. In this case, no such catalog number appears in the published holdings of the Istanbul Archaeological Museums, which does hold real Nippur tablets and publishes its collections. No corroborating translation, academic paper, obituary, or biography for the described Russian linguist has surfaced in any searchable record. This pattern, a specific sounding archive number attached to an untraceable object, is a common device in speculative content, not evidence of concealment. It's worth being direct about what this means. This isn't a case of mainstream academia refusing to engage with a controversial finding. It's a case where no finding exists to engage with in the first place, where real ideas get borrowed and repurposed. The video does lean on genuine facts, which is part of why it feels credible. The name Mulmul, used in real Sumerian astronomical texts, does refer to the Pleiades star cluster. The precession cycle, the real Great Year, is a real and sophisticated piece of ancient astronomy. Tiamat is a real figure from Babylonian myth, specifically the primordial sea goddess in the Enuma Elish, defeated by the god Marduk, whose body is said in the myth to form the heavens and earth. What the video does is take each of these real elements and reassign them a second, invented meaning. Mulmul becomes a literal alien homeworld with a stated population. The precessional Great Year becomes a countdown clock. Tiamat becomes a literal shattered planet rather than a mythological figure. This is a real storytelling technique, grafting new claims onto genuine facts so the whole package feels verified. But a true detail about the Pleiades name doesn't verify a false detail about the Pleiades population, and it's important to say so plainly rather than let the two blur together. The much repeated population match, a number converting to roughly 8 billion matching Earth's population today, should be treated with particular skepticism. Converting ancient numeral systems into modern figures involves interpretive choices at multiple steps, and no published, peer-reviewed translation of any tablet produces this figure. A striking coincidence built entirely from unverifiable steps isn't a coincidence at all. It's a constructed one. Verified V's. Unverified. A clear breakdown independently verifiable. Nippur was excavated starting in 1898 and was Sumer's religious capital for centuries. Sumerian and Babylonian astronomers tracked Venus, named planets, and understood long-term celestial cycles, including precession. Mulmul is a genuine Sumerian/Babylonian term associated with the Pleiades. Tiamat is a real figure in Babylonian mythology, from the Enuma Elish. The Istanbul archaeological museums hold real tablets from Nippur and other Mesopotamian sites. Not independently verified, the existence of a tablet catalogued as NI 3535 with the described content. Any translation listing 12 inhabited worlds, named populations, or a returning judgment figure. The Russian linguist, his translation, and his death. The claim that any ancient numeral converts precisely to 8 billion. What mainstream scholarship establishes differently. Mainstream Assyriology treats Tiamat as myth, not astronomical record, treats the Pleiades reference as a name, not a population census, and has no record of suppressed Nippur material matching this description. Cross-culturally, many ancient traditions describe cosmic cycles, celestial beings, and world-ending or world-renewing events. A pattern comparative religion scholars generally explain as a shared human response to mortality, natural disaster, and the night sky, rather than evidence of a single hidden, literal record. The genuinely interesting question here isn't whether ancient aliens cataloged Venus's population. It's why stories like this work so well and keep reappearing, tablet after tablet, video after video, with the same beats: a suppressed discovery, a researcher who paid a price for knowing too much, a number that shouldn't be there. Real Sumerian astronomy. Patient, precise, built over centuries of naked-eye observation. Is arguably more impressive than the fictional version, and it doesn't need an invented tablet to earn your attention. If a claim like this interests you, the productive next step is straightforward. Look for the object in a museum's public catalog, look for the translation in a peer-reviewed journal, and look for the researcher's actual publication record. When none of those exist, that's not proof of a cover-up. It's simply the absence of evidence.